For the very latest news from Thailand, this is the Fabulous Pattaya Media Group. If you could like and subscribe, well, that would be amazing. Thank you so much.
In the deep south of Thailand, far from the tourist regions and close to the tricky Malaysian border, a local village mayor and businessman lost his wife to armed terrorists who raided his factory this week. CCTV shows 4 men brandishing firearms and leaving the 55-year-old beyond recovery. A female employee engaged in a meeting with him at the time is said to have been unharmed, seeing this attack as a premeditated one aimed specifically at the factory owner. Malaysian officials are proposing a Trump-style wall across the natural border with Thailand. The Kelantan government claims that such a wall would reduce illegal crossing and somehow reduce flooding too. In Khom Kem, during a 10-year period of employment, a cleaner in a local gold shop was finally banged to rights this week after a court accepted that she'd stolen gold from her employer piece by piece, adding up to over 25 million baht in value. That the owner didn't notice for a decade hasn't been questioned, but the combination of sentences sees her handed down a 235-year jail term, meaning that unless she sees sentence reduction, which she obviously will, over the years, she would, albeit technically, be 275 years old when she sees the light of day again. Meanwhile at home, and police are still reviewing an incident where Uzbekistani women said to be operating on Beach Road as body sellers had a fight with others from the same country in a so-called turf war, with one very organised side claiming that newcomers weren't welcome. And despite their trade being illegal, this week's midnight tussle saw police racing to the scene where they arrested several women and men who were presumed to have been their bosses. Unsurprisingly, none wanted to press charges. So after photographing them and taking down their particulars, they were duly allowed to leave, albeit separately. If you've ever wondered what happens when a pet owner moves away and allows his erstwhile best friends to run feral and alone, then a tale from a Sukhumvit side soy tells it all. A female and her now grown pups there have run the streets, leaving neighbours scared until finally, after several injuries, they're about to be removed and sent to an animal welfare centre. The plight of soy dulce is well documented, with several do-gooders feeding them and in some cases taking them in, but in reality most remain on the streets and have a pretty sad life. If moving and you can't find a home for your pets, why not pay a shelter to take them in, providing a donation for food and upkeep? This week's tale of a Russian group of drinkers where one woman deposited a sharp knife repeatedly in another has now been solved. It seems that the assailant, who's now been caught, was involved in a love triangle with the other. The 32-year-old claims that she'd had an affair with the 49-year-old's husband. They'd been caught out, and for a year since, the scorned wife had regularly berated her. This time, however, drunk, the errant ex-mistress got, in her words, carried away, as she indeed was by police to the local station for questioning. Passers-by were bemused to see boys in brown poking around on Pattaya's Beach Road, but in a good way, as local police helped a 17-year-old girl who dropped her iPhone, only for it to slip inside a storm drain. With the grill refusing to budge, one wily cop came up with the idea of a bag tied to a stick. Catching the phone quickly, she was relieved to find that it still worked. All in the day's work, perhaps, for those who protect and serve. And with the Met Office promising highs over the next 3 days of 32 degrees, dropping down to 28, the real feel of 35 at times, and 3 days of sun but with clouds and the chance of rain.
Local and national news today from Fabulous 103 FM and Fabulous Pattaya Media Group. And to get a notification every time we release another bulletin or programme, like and subscribe to our channel, Fabulous Pattaya Media Group, by using the link below.